And welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to thank you all for joining us here on our Zoom room and our audience on YouTube, Facebook, whether you're on any of the CAN apps. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. So, I just want to let you know that tonight my amazing co-host is Neil Garr, founder of Portal to Ascension, and our special guest is Lori Spanga. Now, Lori is a passionate bringer of the light who is here to help you heal, resolve, transform, be, do, have, and achieve whatever your soul truly desires as you come into divine alignment with your most benevolent, best life path. And she is going to be talking with us tonight. I'm going to have Neil to go ahead and introduce her. But Neil, let me get you to go ahead and come on up.
Hello, everybody. Good
Hey.
to be here. Yeah, thank you, Sheila, for having me again.
Thank you for being here. So you've got some
Definitely.
exciting stuff coming up. You want to share with everybody what's happening?
Yes, and I've shared it last time, so a lot of people tuning in probably heard it. And for those of you who haven't, we do have a conference coming up this weekend, April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, Portal to Ascension Conference. Um, Honestly, I'm so excited. When I was just sharing with Sheila just recently, just a few minutes ago, actually, that every single day that passes, I'm getting more excited because the amount of intention, love, synergy that we're creating, right? Just to kind of give you like just some background production elements, like we've been getting together with the vendors and meditating online. We've been getting together with the speakers and having synergy kind of group interactions. We just had the last one yesterday. We've done that with the staff multiple times. We're so beyond prepared, but not only that, we're moving forward. It's not a conference where there's vendors and there's speakers and then there's the staff. We are really intending to move forward as a collective unit for the same goal. We all have a role to play, and together we're creating an experience. So the next weekend is a ceremony, a 3-day ceremony, and every single person is a part of it. Even before we start, we're going to get together the vendors, the speakers, and the staff, and we're going to chant together in tone before we even begin on Friday, because it's next level intentionality. That's what it's really about. How can we move forward in this world with the intention of what we want to create? And when we get together in numbers, it's almost a shame when you don't really spend that time to harmonize tones, synergize, sync up. So that's kind of just talking about the production. I haven't even told you about what's in store: the music, the sound and vibration, the awareness, the deep esoteric and ancient history is unprecedented, beyond, like, we're just going deeper and deeper as we're peeling back layers to uncover the truth of who we truly are. And right now is the moment for that. That's why we're doing all this. It's the time. This is the beginning of a new cycle, a beginning of an age, and part of that is these conversations, right? In the beginning, these cosmic conversations that are leading us to this ultimate truth that we're all heading towards. So I'm excited for it, guys. Ascensionconference.com. If you can't attend live, you can sign up for the virtual pass. Virtual pass will be replays, which is better than the live stream because we're giving you more content and fully produced, because we don't have internet access at the venue. So you can sign up to come in person. You can sign up for one day. You can even just come for the after party and sign up for that on Sunday, or you can sign up for the virtual pass. And just to kind of add some more things that we're doing there, we're actually going to UK as well, Glastonbury, ancient Avalon, the town that was surrounded by water and where King Arthur's kingdom was, in Glastonbury. And we're doing the Portal to Ascension Glastonbury conference in August as well. So lots happening. New sites launch. I could just list on forever. I could spend the whole hour just like telling you everything that's going on. But what you can do is just go to portaltoascension.org, sign up to our newsletter there, and you'll get updates for everything. And I'm excited today because today I'm bringing on a really close person to me, to Portal to Ascension, to myself. And she's actually not only going to be at our conference this weekend, but she's also flying all the way to the UK from the US to be at our conference in Glastonbury as well. So it's really the ideal situation in this moment where you get to really experience someone that's going to be at both of those events. So should I just get right into it, Sheila, and go ahead and bring Lori on?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so Sheila kind of did a little bit of her official bio. I don't have the official bio up, so I'm just going to speak from the heart. And I'll just tell you how I kind of connected with Lori. It was at Conscious Life Expo 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And at that moment, that point, I'd only seen a video of her having animal communication, actually communicating with a horse, right, on YouTube. And at that point, I really didn't even, I knew it was possible, but I just didn't really ever kind of like spend some time looking into it. I didn't really firmly believe it. And when I saw Lori having this communication and this connection with this horse, I completely was a believer. I felt her sincerity, authenticity immediately. We met up at Conscious Life Expo at the restaurant there. We sat down, had a conversation, and then since then, she has been slowly and surely being integrated more and more into Portal to Ascension. She was at my live conference in 2018. She was at the live one in 2019. She speaks on so many topics, multidimensional. Like today, you guys, you're in for a treat because Lori's information is exponentially increasing right now. And I've just been experiencing that over the last couple of months. We had a phone call a few weeks ago where we were speaking about that. She speaks on benevolent ET races. She speaks on how to tap into abundance. And she brings in multidimensional energy and really just has what is needed for the time, what is relevant for this moment. So today, we're going to bring Lori on and just kind of give it to her because I'm going to be going onto a plane here. So I'm just doing the introduction. I'll be tuning in a little bit. And we're just going to experience just a direct download from Lori Spagna. So my beautiful soul sister, great friend, Lori Spagna, everybody.
Thank you so much, Neil, and thanks so much, Sheila, also, and to everyone who's here for having me. I'm so excited and grateful for our time together. And I just want to tap in on or add to what Neil was saying about the event, that the one thing that you cannot get like anywhere else, in my opinion, is the connection with the community and the tribe. So if you are in the San Diego area and you can get there, or even if you're not and you can still get there because it's coming up this week, I'm getting on a plane this week also to get there. And if you can get there, because to me, the one thing that you can't get anywhere else is that connection, community, tribe. And not only that, but to be in the energy, to be around everybody. It's just it's so unique in that way. Because I've been going to expos and festivals and fairs and conferences, as a speaker for the bulk of my professional life. And it's rare that you can get that up close and personal and intimate with so many progressive people. And I'll just say one other thing to everybody who's considering or possibly going to attend, is that whether it's this one in San Diego or if it's one of the future ones, like Neil mentioned, we're doing Glastonbury this summer in August. The weekend, I think it's August 10th, right? Is the weekend, Neil? Yeah. So getting in that environment and being around those people, one thing I know from having led retreats for so many years is the one thing that most people around the world are craving is to be in conscious community where they really feel connected to the people. And I think that's what's so amazing that you do, Neil, is you create this community where people feel safe, they feel included, they feel welcomed, they feel invited, they feel belonging, they feel a sense of inclusion. And I think that tends to be rare. Even in conscious communities, it's not always there. And yet, Neil, you are so amazing at creating that. So I just wanted to say that's one of my favorite things. I love going. I think everybody who's in your community constantly says that. We all feel connected and so included. And it's a gift that you bring and that the community creates together. And it's a great environment to be in for anyone who wants to up level in an accelerated way. It's not just listening to something from a distance. It's full on participation. So anyway, that's my
Thank you.
that's where I'm at.
Because we're family, right? Like we do it, we're connected on the family level. Just before you get into your presentation here, in 2019, when we did our last live one, my friend said to me, "Hey, all you did was throw a party, and invite all of your friends." That's the feeling of the conference.
It is like that. It is. I have made more long-term, soul family friends at your events, and I just have people that I'm still now every time we get online, and I know everyone else feels that way too. So I would highly encourage that to anybody who wants to. So I hear that all the time from people, how much they really desire and crave that kind of community and connection. So I just wanted to say that's off the charts at all the Portal to Ascension events. So anyway, Yeah. All right. So good. So I'm so excited. So all right. So Sheila, are you there, or how long am I going for? Could I
I
just
am here. So if you want to talk for, till the top of the hour, it'll be 8 o'clock our time, seven
Okay.
yours. We'd love to hear anything you have to
All
share
right.
with us. And I just went ahead and put my video, turned it off because there was a little bit of lag time, but I'm right here.
Okay, awesome. So, I don't have necessarily anything prepared. I usually let the divine just work through me based on what the group is wanting, needing, desiring. And usually that's kind of how I do most things, although I have a general topic area. And right now, I think we were talking about, as we're stepping into this new paradigm, one of the things is that we're shifting into now is how to really how to allow the divine to flow through us, to really paint the canvas of our reality. So I think that's where I'm going to go. That's the direction I'm going to go in. And I want to say that I want to set the stage by this realization that as we're shifting out of this old paradigm and we're watching all of the old foundational structures, whether they're organized religion and their leaders, or whether it's government and their leaders, whether it's just our old cultural beliefs, cultural norms, whether it's our own personal beliefs, belief systems, our own perspectives, whether it's our energy, whether it's the way we go forward in life, the way we operate and in relationships, whether it's to people or groups or organizations, whatever it is that we're shifting, and we're all shifting all of those things. The idea is that overall we're leaving behind this old paradigm because we're recognizing it's just too limiting, and we're expanding and up leveling, in a sense, our frequency and consciousness into this new paradigm that we're birthing, right? That's birthing through us. So obviously, I think if we're in this community, we know that. And what I want to contribute here, and then I'm going to probably do a prayer and allow the divine to bring through what's meant to come through. But what I want to set the stage with is that it's up to us now, in a sense, with our free will choice. And our free will choice is our energy, our consciousness, our awareness, where our awareness goes, what we put our attention or intention on or into. That's our free will choice, what we consciously and unconsciously choose. That's really what's birthing our new reality, in a sense. And simultaneously, what's birthing it in and through us is the divine, the will of the divine, to awaken within the dream, right? Awaken within this reality, and to start bringing forth more of its. And I say it because I understand it as genderless, like it's all genders and none at the same time, to bring forward and bring forth what its desire and intention is for this reality. So we're collaborating with this divine, with the will of the divine, as we unify our will with the will of the divine, right? So we watch this old paradigm sort of collapsing and recognizing, to a certain degree, there's some things that just don't even need our attention at all anymore, because they're just not part of what we're bringing forward into the future. And then at the same time, we're saying, birth in and through me as a vehicle of the divine. I think a lot of times we don't always realize this, is that, whatever is going on in the physical world, in the external world, is really the drama of human consciousness, right? It's the drama of consciousness. And what's really going to allow the birthing of the divine to come through is not about what's in the external world. It's not about what shows up on the TV or, in the news reports or on the media or even in, and anything in the external. It's about what we allow to come through us. So to come not only through us as physical beings, but through our awareness and our perspective. So one of the analogies I really, really love to offer here, that when I was given this through consciousness, that was just for me a total game changer, is this idea that we are the pen, our physical, mental, emotional, right? In a sense, we're the pen And the canvas, or the, you know, the paintbrush, you could say, the canvas is life and reality. And the divine is the ink or the paint. And so our job is to allow the divine to flow that so-called ink or paint, to allow the canvas of our reality to be painted, and to use our free will to sort of choose the colors in a sense, or to ask for more vibrancy or more intensity here, less intensity there, or expanding into some part of the artwork in this area and maybe dissolving some of the artwork in that area. But to recognize that the entire canvas of our reality is a masterpiece, and to allow the divine to paint that masterpiece through us. And I think this is really, to me, this is what it's about, right? Because as much as it's so fun, let me just ask if this is where I want to go. I don't want to get lost down this storyline, but I want to just add into it. As much as it is so fun to explore all of the infinite potentials of what's going on, you know, whether it's star family races, which I of course love and feel, you know, that I'm deeply connected to that, whether it's, you know, what Ascension is, whether it's what multidimensionality is, whether it's angels, whether it's guides, whatever it is, whether it's negative alien agenda or positive, you know, expanding more into the light with what we would call more positive things, positive, negative being just a comparison word, you know, whatever it is, all of that is fine. But all of that stuff, in a sense, can happen through the mental awareness. Just someone can watch, read, learn, but that is not necessarily the really purity of allowing the divine to flow through us and paint the canvas. And so when we prepare ourselves energetically to kind of like clear our field, when I say our field, I'm talking like what we call our morphogenetic field, which when it gets really purified is really is a crystalline structure, the crystalline structure of our energetic field. And that field is so much greater than a physical form, right? That field is the size of, just think like 55-story building, right? A 55-story building. Like that's how, you know, in diameter, like all around, like an orb. That's our field. And it's this morphogenetic field when it's just carrying like all this stuff like goo and thoughts and imprints and implants and energetic interference and blocks and karmic stuff and belief systems that are outmoded and programs that keep us on automatic pilot. And yes, you know, like we could call some negative alien implants from like this and other lifetimes or whatever all that stuff is. But as it gets purified, it really reveals the inner landscape, which is just a pure and perfect crystalline really orb of light, in a sense. That's really, in a sense, who we are in consciousness. And so as we purify our field, we allow the divine. We are allowing the divine through our free will choice to flow that ink, to flow that paint. And I think that that is one of the challenges we're facing in our human reality right now, because we are in, to a large degree, there is a lot of uncharted territory here. And the uncharted territory, how do I clear out that field? How do I know what's in that field, that morphogenetic field? Like, you know, how do I identify that I'm in like a looping pattern where I'm in some kind of drama or upset or chaos, or I'm caught in my own etheric, non-physical straitjacket, so to speak, where I feel like I'm stuck? Like, how do we, as an individual and as a collective, how do we get through that? Recognizing that no matter if you're in your own form of an energetic straitjacket, no matter how much pulling and pushing you do, no matter how much judgment you do on the wrongness of the fact that you're in this sort of straitjacket, I'm using that right as just an example, like not an actual, not literal, right? But no matter how much pushing and pulling, resisting, judging you do, you're still in there. And what you really need is someone who has the key, right? But yet we're in this uncharted territory, and we're like, I know for me, that's my thing. I'm searching for the keys in the realms of the unknown. I'm searching for all those keys that get us as individuals and as collectives, as a collective, not only out of these kind of like straitjackets, but to clear away that black glue, to like identify, oh, those are beliefs and belief systems that are just old paradigm. They're not real, because when we're in them, we can't even tell, or just to like lift away the judgment, or to download and activate and awaken some form of new consciousness that was not necessarily previously available to us, because it was in the realms of the unknown. And it was, and even beyond the unknown, my favorite thing is really if I can get into the areas that's unknowable. What does unknowable mean? Unknowable means completely uncharted territory by any human consciousness, because of course the divine knows everything, but our human consciousness has not progressed in physical form to this degree that there are areas of the infinite that has formerly been entirely unknowable to us pre this new paradigm. And so when we can access that and bring it in, this is how we learn about things, not just through the brain, but through the field of energy that we are, this morphogenetic field that is really being purified to become, in a sense, crystalline. So, okay, I want to make sure everyone's with me on this because that's pretty out there. So is that making sense to everybody? Is everyone with me on this? How's Sheila?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. I'm loving it.
Oh, good. Okay, so in a sense, then to me, one of the greatest challenges is that when somebody gets into this, I call it's like drama, right? The drama of the physical reality. We get stuck in something, and that's when we're struggling in the spider's net web, or in the straitjacket, so to speak, and we can't see our way out. And that's when it's so great, in a sense, to have someone who we are safe with, emotionally, mentally safe. By the way, how do we establish emotional and mental safety for ourselves and another? I wonder if anyone knows. I wonder if you would put in the chat box. Because first of all, whatever you guys put in the chat box is what we can do some healing and downloads on. I'm going to do a prayer and have the divine bring it's whatever it wants through us, right? Based on what you guys want or need. So I just wonder, how do we create that sense of safety, to emotional safety and mental safety? Because in order for us to make these shifts, we have to have a sense of safety, right? And if we look at old paradigm and the old structures, that's one of their number one tools, is keep people in a state of fear, so they're unsafe, so they cannot do this change and this shift, right? We're not making anyone wrong. We're just understanding this is a requirement. This is something we all as a human species need to expand and to allow the divine to flow through us, because our body our whole energy has to change. We have to be willing to look at those shadow parts, like, oh, there's black goo there. Oh, there's something really scary over there. Oh, there's like, oh my God, I'm full of some anger right now, or some full of some judgment. Like, there's not anything wrong with those things, but they're the things that are keeping us from that kind of purity that allows the divine to flow through, right? So how do we create a sense of safety for ourselves and one another, so that we can identify these things, to clear them out, to allow the divine to paint the canvas of our lives, which is essentially what everything we want to experience. I mean, when you're talking about letting the divine paint the canvas of your life, what we're talking about is your hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. The most magnificent part of you, each of us, who is really in love, in awe of who we are, what we become, what comes through us, and we're in awe of everyone else too. And we're like, oh my God, this is so magnificent. Like, I couldn't have made this up, because only the divine could bring that through, right? That's what we're talking about, right? So, all right, so since nobody answered that one, Sheila said, bring in protection from my collective. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, let me add, I was going to say, here's what I was going to contribute. Heidi said judgment is standing in the way. Right. That's true. Judgment is a form of energy that stands in the way of something greater coming through. Right. So to me, the way we create safety for ourselves and one another is through acceptance, acknowledgement, and even a form of agreement. And let me say what I mean by agreement. Agreement doesn't mean I agree with your perspective. Agreement means I completely allow your perspective. So agreement is yes, I hear you. Yes, I acknowledge you. Of course, you would feel that way. Of course, that would be your perspective because that's where you're coming from. That doesn't mean I necessarily agree with the person, what they're saying. So this is so important because this is what allows people to feel safe, to express, and to look at their shadow self, and to look at these judgments, perspectives, beliefs, belief systems, etc., ideologies, energies. If we can allow that, right? If we can allow ourselves to be okay by giving ourselves that kind of, yes, I see that. Yes, I agree that. Okay, of course I would feel that way. Of course you would feel that way based on what you're saying. I hear you. See, these are forms of agreement. They're no longer a push-pull struggle. Of course you feel trapped in that straitjacket. Of course you're struggling in that spider web. Of course you would feel that way. This kind of safety in our environment, talking to ourselves and one another by offering that kind of like understanding, agreement, acceptance allows, that's like feminine energy, right? That allows the divine to flow through. Like I'm no longer in judgment, resistance, reaction. I'm allowing. Of course, yes, there it is. There's that shadow on the wall. There's that scary fear. So the moment we start allowing more, that's how the divine can begin to come through. Okay. I hope this makes sense. This is helpful to people. I hope so. All right. All right, let's do a prayer with that. And what I would love to do when we go into the prayer, it helps if I know what you guys are working on. If there's anything in particular, I don't really have to know. The divine will bring through whatever's meant to come through. But if you want something in particular, now is the time to just type it in, like just a one word, not a whole paragraph, anything in particular. Because what we'll do is we'll ask the divine to bring forward, whatever's meant to come through for our group. But know this is the main thing I want to say, is that if we're painting the canvas of our reality, and the reality that we're all desiring is something that's more aligned with happiness, love, joy, health, well-being, prosperity, abundance for all, with harm to none, right? Harm to none. Then the moment we start asking for more of that, the key is to become an energetic resonance with that, right? To become the energy of that. This is why when we do some kind of healing or transmission, we're allowing the divine to bring us into resonance with those things. So I hope this is making sense, right? I hope this is making sense. Yeah, getting out of our own way and getting us to allow, need help. All right, good. What we can do, thanks Heidi for that. We can definitely do like a clearing for just allowance. And Chona's saying, yes, for your highest sovereign service. Now, let me talk about that. Yeah, I'd like to talk about that briefly. It's an awesome topic. So Chona said something about my unique healing modality for my highest sovereign service. So understand all of our unique gifts, whether it's your unique healing modality, whether you're a light worker who's going to do light language, whether you're going to build some kind of new device that cleans up all the plastic in the oceans, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're here to bring through, that stuff is coded in your DNA. It's coded in your DNA. And as you start to prepare and get ready, as your body, your vehicle becomes more prepared in a sense, and you're allowing the divine to flow through, it starts basically directing you. But those codes are in your DNA. And as you awaken the DNA, the consciousness that's you starts to know, in a sense, what that is and birth it, right? Gets birthed through you. So clearing, activating DNA is a major part of it, and allowing and clearing the core pillar, right? That's a major part of it. Do you guys know what the core pillar is? You guys get that? Dawn said, for my truck to show the mechanic what is wrong while the mechanic has it. Something is wrong. Oh, it's interesting. All right, I'm going to go to the core pillar and I'm going to address Dawn. Core pillar is your major chakra centers, right? This is your core pillar. So if you know your crown, third eye, throat center, heart center, belly, your solar plexus region, reproductive, buttocks, base of the spine, and all the way down below the feet, right? That's your root chakra. Your base and root are your two lower chakras that just open and allow the energy to flow. So we know that that's part of it, is we have to have this whole core pillar cleared. And most people don't really do that on a daily basis. They don't recognize that that's as important as clearing, as flossing your teeth, right? If you're not flossing your teeth, you build up gunk, right? Same thing, if we don't clear these chakras on a pretty much a daily basis, we tend to collect energetic gunk in there, and it radiates out from us and fills up that field with gunk. So we need to clear that out regularly. That's part of allowing the divine to flow through. I hope that makes sense. But as we activate that DNA, going back to Chona's comment, right? As we activate the DNA, our natural abilities start to come out. What I will say, when you say your highest sovereign service, that word sovereign is often very kind of charged, right? Because as we're awakening out of the old paradigm, we know we have to reclaim our sovereignty. Very, very important. It is important to claim our sovereignty, because in a sense, what we're saying is, I no longer need a false authority. I no longer need nor require a false authority. I claim sovereignty and choose to have dominion over my own consciousness. And therefore, I render these false authorities false in my experience. My true divine authority is my source, right? When we're saying we claim sovereignty, that is so important. And at the same time, what we also want to understand, and this is for those of you who are choosing the path that I'm choosing or something similar, my path is a path of service to the light, which means that I am in service to the expansion of consciousness and to God Source Creator's plan for lighted creation. That's for our existence. We exist because there is light, right? And from my perspective, the so-called dark agenda is to continue contraction, to keep limitation, to keep limiting, and to, through limitation, and use various tools like fear and anxiety and worry and stress and other things that we know about that we don't need to go down. But really, to my knowing that as we continue to align with the path of the light and choose expansion, more and more the divine can come through us and paint the canvas of our lives. So that doesn't mean we won't have an experience of duality. It means that the experience becomes more and more expanding and less contraction. And the contraction is not necessarily required for continued expansion, because expansion is infinite. The light is infinite. It doesn't mean we won't live in a space of duality. You'll still be you, I'll still be me, we'll still have gradients of color. There's lots of opportunity for that. It just means expansion with the constant being run through, the fear porn reality. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. So in order to do that, we have to let the divine flow through us. And so if we're continually only choosing sovereignty, we're not necessarily, we always continue to choose sovereignty, but the path eventually even expands beyond that, because we're allowing the divine really to be our true authority. And that divinity is within us. It is omnipresent, right? So we're part of it. We're not the whole of it as our individuated selves, but because we are part of it, and it is all of us in a sense. We're not all of it, but it's all of us. Our whole being is it. It's much greater. That makes sense.
Yeah, Laura, somebody just sent me a personal text and they said, this is all very, very beautiful, but I seem to always, always, always be in my own way. How can I step aside to let the divine flow through?
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I love that. Yeah. Well, this is the practice, right? This is what, because this is to me, this is the pivotal thing. That's why I want to do a prayer and let energy flow. We'll do that. I can talk, but I like to address your stuff, but it's about the practice that we need to allow. That is allowing energy to change us in a sense. When we get into some form of a practice, I'm sorry, my dog's at the door. Hold on. Come on, let's go inside. Sorry, you guys, for that disruption. Okay. So we need to allow the divine to flow through us through practice. So we can't be in a constant state of over mentalizing, over emotionalizing, plugging into the drama. You have to find a practice that works for you. I know for me, that's a huge part of what I do. I'm using the tools of the divine, always working with the tools, always using a basic practice to clear my core pillar out, keep it clear. I'm always doing constant, what I call healing on myself. And when I say healing, I'm not talking about because there's anything physically wrong. There's nothing. I don't have any physical issues, thank God. I've been a healer for over 20 years now. I don't need any pharmaceutical drugs. I haven't been to a doctor in 20 years, nor have I needed one. And for the most part, that's been true for my animal companions too. I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs or any of that. I just don't need it. So healing to me is prevention. You typically don't, not always, but I'm just saying I'm working on my mental field, my emotional field, my whole crystalline structure. So to answer that text more succinctly, you got to find a practice that works for you, that helps you to shift your energetic state. And when you find a true healer, teacher who's showing you how to do that, because it is within you, but just again, using that example of a straitjacket, you still need someone with the key. Doesn't mean the key isn't within you, it's in your DNA. Once you learn it, you start developing it and cultivating it yourself too. But initially, it's really helpful to find a teacher who can help you to awaken it from within you. And you find that practice that works for you. It doesn't mean you have to spend hours in meditation every day, but it does have to be some kind of devotional practice where you are working with energy to shift. Because when you're working with that energy, what it does is it frees you, it liberates you from the inertia. Okay, what people often refer to as the ego mind, which I do not believe in the ego mind. I do not believe in that. I've gone into unknown territory where I understand that's a fabrication of the old paradigm. It's not really true. I'm here to bust that one. I'll tell you. What you have is frequency fences, energetic entrapments. And when you're in that, the mind's going. And that's what this person who's writing about is talking about. And they don't realize they're like in a looping pattern of like a frequency fence of energy. And in that moment, it's like a straitjacket in that moment or whatever moment it is. And what frees you from that energy is someone else who's like, oh, let's just clip off this straitjacket. Let's unlock these. Let's just drop this jacket. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm free in a way I never thought I was. And now my mind's at peace, right? But it's not something typically that happens in a minute or 10 minutes or one time, although it can. It's a good practice, especially now we have to do the practice a lot because, yeah, we are being bombarded in the physical world by all kinds of things that are essentially deliberately attempting to, derail us in a sense. And that doesn't make us victims. And that doesn't make someone out there a bad guy. It's just, that's the way the old paradigm works. And then the new paradigm is designed to allow only purity in. And so we're, in a sense, purifying ourselves at every frequency bandwidth, right? We call these like octaves, right? It's just you get into a new octave and you're like, oh my God, it's so much lighter and more beautiful here. And then you up level some more. Oh my God, it's so much more lighter and more beautiful here. And it's infinite. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Sheila, was that helpful? Make sense?
I think that was perfect for her.
Okay,
Thank you.
awesome. All right, I'm just going to say one thing to Dawn, and then I'm not going to elaborate on this too long, but if the car is in the mechanic, right? The car is a very good this lady. She's being a little needy today. So the car is a very good example of you are probably needing some downtime, right? Because the car is an example usually of our physical vehicle. Right? If you just really understand, like, this is all a dream, right? Everything's I'm a mystic. It's part of what I am anyhow. So everything's symbolic, right? So Dawn, I would invite you to honor your downtime and really take some time to rest and recalibrate yourself. And then the other thing I would ask, since you were concerned if the mechanic was going to be able to fix it, I think I read that, to ask for what is the most benevolent best for you and your car, right? The divine always will reveal based on what you think, believe, and perceive, and what you ask. I hope that's helpful. Stacy said, I feel the expansion, not aware where it leads yet. Love the peace acceptance I feel brings such joy and gratitude. That's awesome. Gratitude and joy. Yeah, I mean, where it leads is where you let it lead you. You let it lead. All right, let's do a little practice here. That's enough talking, right? Because the talking is just the business of the mental body. Take some breaths, if you would, with me, if you want to participate in this. And as you're just taking those breaths, if you're able to, allow yourself to close your eyes so the distractions in the external world kind of drop away a bit. And as you're breathing with your mind's awareness, connect with the breath so you're actually really feeling it and sensing it as you breathe it in. With your mind's awareness, ask that the divine, oh, nice, the energy just shifted here. Ask that the divine begin to fill you up as you breathe with whatever energies, frequencies, and vibrations are most appropriate for you as a unique individual at this time, for your most benevolent best. So just know that your thought and request for that is heard by an omniscient source, omniscient, present here now, fully, wholly, and completely aware of you, functioning in you to a certain degree as you. And so your request to breathe in whatever energies are good, right, and appropriate for you at this time is immediately heard, honored, and acknowledged, and responded to appropriately. Now, as you're breathing those energies in, let yourself feel it as it begins to move through your pillar. So what do we mean by this? Breathe it in through the face and let it travel down to the throat. And you're just setting up your own natural rhythmic pace so you can exhale whenever feels right to you. But when you exhale, know that the exhalation is energies that the divine was already filling you up with. So that is now filling up and surrounding you, even on the exhale, filling your core pillar and your field. And on your next breath, you let it breathe even deeper down. So it goes down into the heart chakra center, just filling up and just letting your body go into homeostasis naturally on its own. That's how it responds to this kind of breath. Next breath goes even deeper, longer, slower, down into the solar plexus region. And still really just filling you up with it, with whatever God, source, creator, the divine, Mother, Father, God, all that is knowing is the right approach for you, your body, your being. And the next breath, exhale fills up the space around you, that energy. Next breath goes down even lower below the belly button, lower dantian. Feel it with your mind's awareness. This is how we become conscious of energy. In the basic stages, we just feel it as we breathe it. And notice, because if you're really participating and you're really in this now, you know already this energy of our group has already shifted. I can feel it. And if you let yourself, as you're breathing, as you move it down from lower dantian, reproductive center next, you say, this is the energy that the divine sees fit for me at this time. You can just be aware, just feel it. Next breath goes down into the buttocks area, all the way to the base of the spine. Fills up as much as you can take in and then slowly exhales out. Basic meditation. Now you know, for those of you participating, you can tell your body, your energy has shifted. You really can feel that you're in a state of homeostasis. If you're not, just take your next breath. This time, travel it through into the brain, to the back of the brain, third eye area. Travel it down the back of the neck. Just let your breath breathe through you. And then travel it all the way down along the back of the spine, as if you're breathing and filling up every vertebra of the spine. Long and slow, deep and relaxing. The exhale releases out all around you like a ripple out from a pond, in a pond. One more breath, and then we'll do the brief prayer to bring in the transmission. Let the divine breathe through you all the way down the vagus nerve. So that's all the way back through the brain, down through the base of the neck, and all the way down along the major nerve along the spinal cord. Just breathe and fill that up. When you're as full as you can, just relax, release. Relax, release. Mind's awareness below the buttocks, relax, release. Mind's awareness below the feet, relax, release. There you go. That's nice. Next breath in your own natural rhythmic pace. Let's have Source, Creator, God, the divine, surround each and every individual being. Now you must just agree and allow if you're willing. If you hear something you don't like, you say no, thank you. Your free will reigns supreme. Let's have each and every individual giving consent now to be fully, wholly, and completely encapsulated in God's perfect and pure divine white gold. Let's align all the inner chakras all at once. Space 2108. Just allow, just allow. Notice when you just allow and breathe and relax, the energy in your field. There, nice. For the person who sent the text, this is a great example of how we start to shift energy. This is just a basic practice. And now let's just cut any and all cords and connections. You have to just simply allow. Nothing for you to do. Not right now, because you're not learning it, you're allowing. Let's cut any and all cords and connections that are not 100% of the light, 100% in service to the light, and 100% in support of our roles in God's Source Creator's plan for light of creation. If you're willing now, let it be. Nice. And during this evening and the remainder of this evening, we'll only allow cords and connections with beings who are only 100% of the light, 100% in service to the light, and 100% in support of our roles in light of creation, God's plan of light of creation there. Nice. Now take a big, long, slow, deep breath, and let's have God, Source, Creator. I'm just going to ask for what we're meant to receive here. I hear this now. Provide to you, whoever you are, with your consent only, whatever gifts of consciousness you're meant to receive at this time that are unique and appropriate for you, for your most benevolent best. These gifts of consciousness, of course, will come with and from Source. Source meaning Creator, God, the divine, the one true original source of consciousness, infinite consciousness, that source that is absolute and pure. And these gifts of consciousness will come to you now with your consent. Not there yet. I'm translating first. Of course, with and from Source consciousness, and bring you, whoever you are, with your consent into alignment with Source as it relates to these gifts. These gifts will be unique for you as a unique individual and appropriate for you in your role of God, Source Creator's plan for light of creation. Yes, for now, this is right. If you're willing, take a long and slow, deep and relaxing breath. Now, as you take this breath, I want you to put all your mind's awareness on your brain for just a moment. Just feel your head, right? With your brain, feel, not with your hands. And then, like as if you're diving down into your heart, just take a deep dive. Oh, there, all the way down there. Nice. And from there, you're going to receive. If you want these gifts, now is the time. I'm going to get out of the way and be part of the facilitation of this. Hold on. You just dive down to the heart. Just a few moments. Nice. This is just coming through. Just stay down there in the heart in a sense. Breathe as it's comfortable. There we go. Nice. A little more. There it goes. Nice. All the way down. Let's do a full integration. Nothing for you to do. Just breathe, receive, consent, and allow. Activate, energize, amplify, and anchor it in through all of their nodes and nadis. Now, please show me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Permeate it through, anchor it in, and permeate it through their entirety now, please. Thank you. Show me, show me. Thank you, thank you. There. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. This part is done. Don't come out yet. Just still breathing. For anyone who has an animal companion of your own, not someone else's, or a child, the age 17 or under, not over, please, not someone else's child. You can also give these gifts to them, as is uniquely appropriate for each of them, only as is in accordance with their role in God's source creator's plan for lighted creation, for their most benevolent best, as is uniquely appropriate for them as unique individuals, zero harm to anyone. If you're willing, invite them in now. The way you invite them in is you just have the thought and give your consent as the consenting, we'll use the word caretaker or caregiver in their lives. No one else's child, no one else's pet, only yours. And just breathe, drop into the heart, let it be. Source knows exactly who they are. Source, creator, God, show me, show me, show me. Right here, right now. Animals are going through ascension too. Nice, there we go. Nice, just a little more. Now, if you don't have an animal or a child, bring in the collective of all children. You're allowed to do that. You're part of the God's children, the collective of all human children on earth. And if you don't have an animal, you can bring in the collective of all animals, because we also are animals. We are part of the animal kingdom. So therefore, we can also birth and give this. Breathe it in, accept, receive, and allow if you so choose. That all animals and all children now are gift with the gifts that the divine would have for them, for us, as is uniquely appropriate for all beings, only as is for the greatest good of all, with zero harm and zero detriment, and under the law of one. Breathe and allow. And there it goes. Nice. So simple. Now let's just do one last piece before we come out, because I think we're almost at time. And the one last piece is that from this space, and if you feel like you've gotten a little in the brain at all, just take another breath, dive down again, deep into the heart. What we're going to do is have divine creator God take anything and everything from each individual, only as is good, right, and appropriate for each individual, zero harm and zero detriment. Hear the words before you agree. Take everything and everything that no longer serves us, that no longer supports us on our path, and that especially is non-beneficial and or harmful and or detrimental. that it now be released, transmuted, and sent to the light. Forever sent, forever transmuted into the light, returned home to divine source, and replaced with source consciousness. Now, again, as is uniquely appropriate for each individual, zero harm, zero detriment to anyone or anything. If you're willing, take a long, slow, deep breath. Allow the divine. This is allowing. You know that the energy is blissful. That's all you need. And even if it's not blissful for you at this moment, some of you aren't quite as deep, that's okay. It still feels positively uplifting. We said it, we stated it clearly. It's done. Let it be done. One last breath here. Nice. Just a moment. There it is. Nice. I got the joy tap. I get a joy tap from source when it's like, this is done. All there is joy. All I have for you, Lori, now is joy. Tells me it's done. So when you're ready, I'm joyed out. So I hope you are too. You can just open your eyes. We didn't float anywhere. We didn't leave our bodies. If you feel a little dizzy, that's okay. You just got enlightened a little bit, right? So if you do feel a little dizzy or light, that's all right. Just, tap your body. That's why we drink a lot of water, right? Because it grounds us in a healthy way, flows the energy. And you can always tap your legs or knees or any part of your body so you can feel fully present, anchored in. But trust me, you didn't leave your body. We just brought in more of the divine and released whatever was in the way. And I just want to say this is an example of a simple little practice. We didn't go that deep. We didn't have a huge amount of time to do that. But these kinds of practices, and for me, I know when I do DNA activation webinars, we're in it 3 hours, clearing and activating. Or when I do a channeling session, we're in it. We're getting transmissions, and that is shifting our energy. And for me, I'm only ever working with the light, which is the expansion, and which is everything is done with 100% conscious free will and consent, and only as the divine orchestrates and plans. So there's nothing ever to be afraid of in that space. There's not even a need for protection, really, once we get aligned with that energetic space, because it's all good and all divine all the time. So I hope that's helpful to everybody today. And I just want to say, if there's anything that I'd love to hear back from you guys, how that is. But if anything felt uncomfortable or off for anyone, just know that's what's leaving. That's what's leaving. And let it go.
Lori, I did have a question from someone. They wanted to know how the chakra system supports us in moving into the new earth. And is there such a place, or is it just in our minds?
Okay. Oh, wow. Awesome question. Okay. First, the chakras, these are two questions. Is there such a place as the new earth, or is it just in our minds? And the chakra system. So how the chakra system supports us is, as we understand, these chakra systems are energy vortexes in a sense. They're energy vortexes. So we want that vortex clear and unencumbered with gunk, any kind of gunk that we talked about earlier. And when those chakra systems are clear, that means more of the divine can flow through us. And part of shifting from old paradigm to new paradigm is allowing the divine. And whoever asked that question, I would also recommend go back to the beginning of the call. I know I branched out a little bit, but overall the conversation started there, that we were working on allowing the divine to flow through us more. So the chakra systems, people in what we call the third dimensional paradigm, or that old paradigm, or even in the old versions of us, we didn't recognize or acknowledge those chakras. We didn't necessarily really know how to clear them out. We didn't necessarily do regular practices to allow the divine to flow through. And so because of that, these so encumbered with junk and gunk, basically everyday living hell on earth. Pain, suffering, trauma, upset, poverty mindset, lack, limitation, versions of us that felt like we couldn't or wouldn't, or things weren't possible for us, or things weren't available to us, or we didn't know how to do something because the chakras were all blocked and because we weren't aligned with the divine. So the chakras play the role in that sense because they're helping us to clear out. Well, they're not helping us, we're doing it, but we utilize those chakras as vortexes of energy to allow the divine to flow through. That's first. Second, your heart chakra, which we didn't talk too much about that this time, we did in our last call with Sheila. The heart chakra is a multidimensional portal. It's the only portal that I know of for sure in the physical body, but I'm just asking. Yeah, the others are vortexes. They are not portals. Your heart chakra is a portal. So it's a multidimensional portal. So this is very important to be able to know how to open this, activate the heart chakra. I teach this in all my classes and workshops. We didn't spend a ton of time here today doing that, but that's what allows us to access so-called other ultra dimensions, okay? Now, to answer the second part of the question, I hope that makes sense so far. Is there another world? That question is both yes and no. So why is that? It's not another world. You're living in your world. It's that your world and the reflection of your world, including the canvas that the divine paints on, right? Back to the beginning of the call. Your world changes as you change. The reflection of the world, you think that that's a physical world. It's not. It's a reflection of the emanation of the vibration and the consciousness that you, all of us individuals, have been holding. And where we unite is where our two realities interact, or our collective reality interacts in a collective experience. So your reality will change. So when you ask me the question, is there another physical earth, another physical space? The answer is yes and no. And the reason the answer is yes, if there is another physical earth, is because, wow, this is like a very advanced question, right? Because our reality is a hologram of infinite now moments. And it's just your consciousness that shifts. So when your consciousness shifts because your field is clear, you literally shift to a new reality. This may be challenging for some people to understand if the brain tries to understand it, but if you allow the vibration of what I'm saying to become part of your awareness, you'll integrate it fine. You'll start to have the knowing of it. So there is another earth in that sense, because the earth that is fully, wholly, and completely full of awakened beings who are living joyfully and who are living, and the earth is healed and healthy and all the waters are clean and pure, that exists already. Everything that has ever been created, ever will be created, has already exists in infinite consciousness now. But our consciousness shifts and vibrates to align with it as we clear ourselves out. So I hope that answers the question for you. Makes sense?
Beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. Now, I want to open this up real quick. If anyone has a question that they did not type, please use the little reactions button to raise your hand. Okay, I don't see anything, Lori. I think this was super, super deep and helpful for a lot of people, and I really appreciate it. And one of the things that comes to mind as you're talking, my collective has shared with me a new healing modality. And in this healing modality, one of the things that they began to talk about were all of the various bodies that we have and how they're tied in to different dimensions. And they
Yes.
kept talking about how all we have to do is drop into that which we already are, because
Yes.
we already have access to, whether it's the dimensions, the new paradigm, these new ways of consciousness, because as they've explained to me, the dimensions are purely a perspective shift. And we
Yes.
already contain that within our field. And they tie that into like the 12 chakras and to these 12 ley lines in the body, as well as these 12 fields that surround us. And interestingly enough, when we get to the heart chakra, they start talking about it being a matrix and how it's tied into the holographic field of reality.
Yes.
And then they talk about the throat being a matrix and the third eye and even to the crown, but they don't talk about those lower chakras because they said that's what's keeping us grounded here. And so it always excites me when I hear people, talking about the chakras and talking about that energy and, just that ability to drop into that awareness that, completely surrounds us at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm totally on board with everything you just said. And the other thing, just going back to the person's question earlier, I didn't hear their name, but when they asked about the chakras, your life plan is not only in your DNA, and there's so many ways you can uncover and discover it, but it's also stored in the root chakra. But it's hidden there. Same with the Kundalini energy. It's like the most primal, like sensual, like ecstatic kind of energy is stored up down there. So it's another example. Like every chakra has these divine gifts. So another great example, the chakra center too, is your belly center. So many people keep like all kinds of energetic gunk in there, and they wonder why they have power struggle dynamics. Because if there's all kinds of gunk in there, energetic debris and gunk, people will run into like power struggle dynamics. So this is why we clear this stuff out, because it allows us to live in a whole new vibratory state. This is why we up level our vibration, right? Because every time we up level our vibration, we're shifting in frequency to a new aspect of the holographic reality and another so-called earth experience. Right. And this is why two people can interact, although very rarely will they directly interact for long if they're having such like polarized experiences. So, for example, for me personally, to my awareness, I never crossed paths with a rapist. I never crossed paths. I mean, I could, but I really just I don't have experiences with people who are doing things that are what we would define as evil or usurping someone else's free will choice to their own bodily experience. I also didn't have any kind of personal experience in the famous year of 2020 where someone was attempting to usurp my own body experience, my own free will choice about my own body and what I would do with it, because my reality did not reflect that experience, although I was aware that that was going on for many. You see, so we're living in the same earth, but we're not having the same experiences. Our experiences are overlapping, but very often, if we're extremely polarized, we never even run into each other personally. And so all of this is the matrix that you're referring to that's really coming in a sense, although you're using word matrix in a light filled way. So I totally
Yes.
get it, right? Because that is the light expansion of what's expanding from us, that's resonating with where we're resonating. And that is basically reflecting back to us who and what we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Lori, it's always a joy to have you here, and I so appreciate you and the messages that you bring. I'm so excited to get
Yeah, we're going to
to
play.
see
We are
you
going to have
in
so
just
much
a few
fun.
more days. That's going to
Yes.
be super fun.
That
And
is a good
so,
word.
for people that would like to work with you or to take some of the courses that you offer, can you share with them how they can contact you?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for asking. Everything's at my website, lorispagna.com, which is LORISPAGNA. And what I'm about to do right after Portal to Ascension is I'm going to be launching a brand new mentorship program, which I'm really excited about. We're going to go through all these core teachings, all these core practices. They're going to have these basics, and plus all of the gifts of really developing their extrasensory abilities, their psychic perception, their abilities me, learning how to navigate all of that. This is all going to be part of the sacred mentorship. It's so all of my courses on secret energy of money, self-love, self-worth, like all of the requirements for ascension, really the things that you need to know about transforming your own energy, your state of consciousness. So that is coming soon, not yet announced, but you heard it here live first. So it's all at lauriespagna.com. I will say for those people who have not gotten a DNA activation or maybe want to experience it in a new or a different way, they can go to lauriespagna.com/free gifts/DNA, and then get a gifted DNA activation and a class about how and why we do that. And for the animal lovers out there, because that's a huge part of what I do, they can go to, because I work with the animals, you know, and bring in their consciousness and what they're here to help us with and how we can communicate with them and heal with them, etc. You can go to lauriespagna.com/free gifts/animals. Tons of juicy stuff there. And I'll give you one last free gift. And that is, if you're into really the ascension thing, I would go to lauriespagna.com/free gifts/8 behaviors. 8 behaviors. It's all about the virtues and the new behaviors we need to develop in order to really ascend and expand baseline core virtues and behaviors. There's a lot of more free gifts over there. It's all at lauriespagna.com.
That's awesome. Well, great. So everybody go check out your free gifts. Visit Lori's website. If you haven't already signed up to join us at Portal to Ascension this weekend, this major conference that's getting ready to happen, please come and do so. That way we can all hug, and you know, this virtual community is phenomenal, but it's really awesome when we you know, get to hug each other and see each other in person. And so, you know, Willow and I will be there, so I'll have my little puppy love.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, right there
Hey,
with
our 2
me.
puppies are going to meet.
Yeah, how fun will that be?
Yeah.
You'll love it. Yes. And so I want to thank everyone so much for being here with us week after week. I want to thank you for showing up, for participating, for being part of this phenomenal community. If you're watching us and you have not yet signed up, please visit thegalacticalliance.org. You will receive 2 emails a week to let you know who is going to be speaking on Monday and who's going to be speaking on Thursday, so that you can join your favorite speakers, ask all your questions, and, you know, just receive some of the community love. Lori, you had something else you wanted to share?
I was just going to say, because at the Portal to Ascension conference on Friday night, there is a panel. It's an Ascension panel that I'm on. Are you on that, or you're on a different one, or I don't know?
No, I'm on, yeah. Anyway,
okay,
I'm
different.
Yeah.
Deborah Justy's hosting that, and there's some amazing speakers on that panel. That's going to be really fun, and Deborah's always a phenomenal host of the panel. So for anyone who's joining us at Portal to Ascension, that's going on Friday night. And then I think I'm speaking Sunday, I think at 11 a.m. or maybe at 9. I can't remember, in the morning. I think it's 11. But anyway, they'll get the schedule there. So I'm looking forward. Anyone who's here, say hello to me there. I can't wait to meet everybody.
All right. Well, that'll be
so
awesome. Thank you. And Lori, it's so good to have you back. We'll have you again.
Oh, I love playing with you. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. And thank you again to everyone so much.
Yes, and you too. Thank you so much, and much love to everyone. Have a beautiful evening, and we hope to see you this weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.